Thank you very much. This is Tom's Guitar Show, and I'm Tom, and this is my show about guitars, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And they call me on the phone, and they ask me, they say, hey man, what's your show about? I say, it's about an hour, about guitar players and guitar playing. So anyway, this is our monthly coffee house special. So here we are at Uptown Bill's Coffee House, and if you're watching this live on Tuesday, you should come on down to Uptown Bill's, right here in the corner of South of Dubuque and Lafayette, not far from downtown Iowa City. If you're watching this as a rerun on Friday night, you're out of luck. But anyway, sorry, I have no intonation problems. You know, actually, if I spend more time tuning and then just playing the Tom's Guitar Show theme, I wouldn't really have to have any material worked up for the show. But so anyway, every month we do a little show up here at Uptown Bill's Coffee House. Now next month, in March, we're planning to do a big show with a string band and a narrator. We're going to play all kinds of music. We're going to have accordions and string bass, mandolins, banjos, electric guitars, ukuleles, all kinds of different stuff. And we'll have a narrator going through the whole thing. So that's going to be our big show. This is just a little end of the February show. Leap year special. Brought my jazz box. Somebody was reading this thing about live improvised programs where you don't actually bring anything in, and I mean, you don't have anything rehearsed necessarily. You're not bringing anything. There's no program, and you just make it up as you go along, which sounds more appealing to me somehow, because one tends to do the program just as one feels, like what the room needs at that moment, rather than what you planned months in advance. So that's what I like to do. For instance, I changed my mind about which guitar I was going to bring a few minutes before I left the house. You should have heard what I had planned. Now that was really something. I like the way we can hear the crowd noise here. People at home can hear them too. One of the things I wanted to play, though, this is something that made up in my 20s. I composed a series of, I had trouble tuning back those days too, but I composed 7 love songs, I call them. And they're all about love. They weren't necessarily about romantic love or, like people in love. There could be other kinds of love. But anyway, this was number 5, but then later I called it number 1. So I'm just going to play this. This is something I composed when I was in my 20s, a long time ago. Wait till they're okay. I think the radio's still on or something here. And yeah, it's on. Oh, I get this right. And with potato chips, do them in rhythm. We're in cut time. So, but potato chip bags in cut time. 1, I'm sorry, 2. Okay. I just want to play another one of those love songs. This is, I think. This is, well, I'm going to do number 3 and 4, as I haven't played these for a while. I thought it'd be more daring for me to play them on live television than just, practicing them at home or something easy like that, because that would be the easy way to do it. pretty heavy stuff there. Kapinski, sir.
Is that from the Rumors of Amelia?
No, that's from before that. That's
Well, that's all I wanted to ask. I can come back later. But,
okay. All right.
Could we do some of the stuff from Rumors?
Sure. I'm wide open here. I had a slightly different plan, and then it was raining, so I said, so I brought this one. Yeah, no, I'll do that. Give it a name. I think I remember everything on that album. Yeah. And you're going to come up and read in a little while. You can sit next to me and have a voice mic if you want at that time. So. Well, anyway, we have a few other things planned for the show coming up, but I've been, I was going to say that I've been spending time on YouTube lately. I have stuff on YouTube, and a lot of other people do too. And one thing, I was really interested in Lenny Breau. I've been thinking about Lenny Breau a lot lately. He played a 7-string guitar. He was a fingerstyle jazz guitarist. And I think he died in 1984. And he was, found dead in a swimming pool. He'd been strangled. And his wife was the principal suspect. And she was never charged, so it's an unsolved murder. But he was a really amazing guitar player in a lot of ways, and somebody who's worth looking into. He's not well known, I don't think. But I mean, the stuff he does is beautiful. So anyway, I've been thinking about Lenny Breau a lot lately, and then when I got home from my gig on Saturday night at Tuscan Moon, so if you're out and about and want to go to beautiful downtown Kelowna on Saturday night, I'll be playing at Tuscan Moon from 6 until 9, or 6:30 to 9:30 or something like that. But anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah. So I got home from the gig, and then I was looking at Lenny Breau videos on YouTube, and I saw this one that said on the side there, it said the most beautiful guitar playing, and it wasn't Lenny Breau. I clicked on it, and it was Ted Green, and that's Green with an E on the end, Greene, and it sounded familiar. And he was the one who wrote the book Chord Chemistry. And he must have written it when he was about 25 years old. But it was like everything you need to know about chords and chord theory, which is one of my favorite subjects because I like to make all kinds of lush, beautiful chords. I think chords are like a beautiful palette that you can make music with. So I think about chord theory every day. And so anyway, but I never really heard him play before. So so I clicked on it, and it was him playing at a wedding reception in the 80s. It was a video of him just sitting in the corner playing at a wedding reception, and there were people walking in front of the camera, like ladies in colorful dresses, and you could hear the forks scraping on plates and things like that. And at one point, somebody goes ask him something out of camera, and he's probably saying, "I have the blue cheese on my salad" to the waiter or something like that. But he's playing this beautiful medley on a Fender Telecaster. And most jazz guitar players don't choose a Telecaster; they choose a big hollow body like this one. So anyway, so for the last few days, this is Tuesday, so this was Saturday night, and I watched some more Ted Green videos and stuff. But in the last couple of days, I've been studying him more. And one of his students videotaped his lessons with him. Because see, the thing about Ted Green is he played some gigs, and he did some recordings, and he did some session work, but most of his, he spent a lot of time researching and practicing and so forth. And most of he made his living basically by teaching lessons, which is sort of what I do. Pretty much, and but he's like me. He's like me, only better, right? And same kind of guy as me in a lot of ways, only better. And he didn't just write the book. He wrote 4 books, which I have not read any of them, but I probably will. But anyway, so just absolutely gorgeous, shimmering tones and really smart guitar playing. And the thing I did notice was when he actually did play a hollow body during these lessons, he picked up one which is very much like this. He picked up the Guild guitar of this. So anyway, so if anybody's watching this, if you want to hear something really good, listen to Ted Green. That's Greene. I learned a lot from it. I can't really communicate all the things I learned, but I mean, beautiful chords. Thank you. So like I was saying about the improvised thing, I've never actually played that before, and I'll probably never play it again unless they give me the DVD and I study it carefully, and you know. So anyway, I've been thinking about this, these other guitarists over time, and I'm not exactly sure what's important, and I don't know if this is the place for me to be searching my soul. Yeah, there's a joke. I'm sorry. Couldn't see. I was looking at the bottom of my shoe, searching my soul. Anyway, that's an old joke. It was in a Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon but it was an old joke then. So anyway, so I was thinking about Ted Green, who died. I think he was 56 of a heart attack, and he just died in his apartment. And then Lenny Breau was in his 40s when he died, and a lot of my friends have passed on too soon, I think, a little early in life. And think about Wes Montgomery too, because I study guitar like on a daily basis. I'm always trying to learn more, and every day's a school day at Tom's Guitar Studio. But like Wes Montgomery, when he was my age, he'd been dead for 10 years. So I think, well, geez, you know, better hurry up and get those guitars played, you know. Anyway, great. Well, we're getting real close to ukulele time. I think I will play something from the Rumors of Amelia, but Donna's going to get her ukulele and we're going to do something. But so one thing I was thinking about these other guitarists that other people don't know about so much, but I really like Lenny Breau and Ted Green, is that, and then Wes Montgomery's an interesting character too, because you think about it I teach guitar lessons, and I've been teaching guitar lessons since I was in high school, and so people want to, they want to play what their favorite rock star, plays, and they feel like this is the best kind of music there ever was, and it maybe if it speaks to them and it makes them happy, that's fine, that's great. But the skill level, I mean, some people don't care about the skill level or the depth of the thought of the guitar player, how deep a thinker they are, because the ones I really like are real deep thinker type of people, the ones I've been mentioning, like Lenny Breau and Ted Green, are real deep thinker kind of guys. That mic's not in a good place for you, is it? There, we could move it away, a little bit more, even farther away, and so
It's tricky.
and it's loose there, and it can tighten up there. There we go. But anyway, what I'm nattering on about is it's fine if you like, somebody from the Rolling Stones or something, and if that speaks to you. But these other people are a lot deeper, and that's not for everybody. But some of us like that stuff, and there should be room for us too. There we go. Is that all right? Is it loose?
A little.
Yeah. Okay.
Needs fixed.
So I'm sort of, I'm not meaning to bash other guitarists. I'm just I'm doing my thing about how I like the really smart ones. Is that?
It's okay.
It's okay. All right. Because I've got nothing against these other kinds of guitar players. It's just that some of us like other stuff. Some people like comic books and some people like to read the Shakespeare, and some people like both. Sometimes some people like those orange cheese curl things that you get in the bag. And those are really good and fun to eat. And people accuse bloggers of living in their mother's basement and getting that cheese stuff all over their keyboards. You see, and did I say that out loud? Okay. All right, what we're going to do? We're going to do a funnel. Okay. Let's see if I can play this right now. So it goes like.
Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched as my baby left town. You could have done something, but you didn't cry. You didn't do nothing. You let her walk by. Everyone knows just how much I needed that girl. She wouldn't have gone far away if only started ringing your bell. Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched as baby left town.
ukulele time there. All right. Thanks, Donna. You've been up here before, haven't you?
Yes,
Many times, actually.
I like to play the ukulele, yes.
That's good. That's good. Well, we'll do more of it, and next month you're going to be a big time.
With the string band last Tuesday.
Yeah, you're going to be a major player and a major soloist. I'm really proud of Donna. She's played lead ukulele on various things, and you got that amp too that does the overdrive shredding. You could shred if you wanted to.
I could.
Yeah. Well, maybe someday you will. But, all right, how's that?
All right, thank you.
Lightly and politely, huh? Well, we'll get Mr. Skopinski up here in a few minutes to play, but he was saying something from the Amelia album, and actually, I had a couple of copies in my guitar case. I actually sold one. I didn't actually sell it. I just gave it to somebody, and they gave me a big tip. And I was playing guitar the other night in the restaurant, but so that Rumors of Amelia was 1997, and I don't record much personally. Well, I have recorded quite a bit, but just sort of for personal consumption. But the thing about the title track, the first and last cuts on the Rumors of Amelia album CD that I did was this piece called the Testamento da Mia, and it's an old song. It's actually an interesting song. It's a Catalan song from part of Spain where they speak a form of Spanish that most people can't understand, and it's a long. This is what I didn't know about this, but see, it's a long, slow song sung from a mother to her daughter. And it's basically saying this lover that you have, dump him, it will never work out. You see, he's my lover also. You see, which is like a Jerry Springer show type of thing. And I didn't know any of this, so when I was a kid, long time ago, I got this record that had that piece on it, and it was a little EP, so it's the size of a 45 record, but it was, we played at 33. And I love that song. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't listed what it was called on the thing, and I was going to find out what it was. I left it. I was about 16 or so. I left it on the dashboard of my car, and the sun came up, and it got all wrinkly, you see, and ruined forever. But I had that thing in my head. I said, well, I got to find out what that song was. I tried to hum it, play it for my guitar teacher. He had never heard of it, and so so years went by, and I started making up my own version of it, of what I remembered from my juvenile mind, because I got the record when I was about 14, and I, kind of didn't obsess over it until after I melted it, and I still didn't know what it was called. So anyway, it's a long, boring story. So I made up my own version of this thing, and I had my own name of it for its little waltz. And then many years later, when I was about 30, I went kind of back to school. I started taking lessons from Benjamin Verdery, and he, anyway, the first thing he gave me was a bunch of exercises and this piece called El Testamento de la Mia, which is a very difficult piece by Miguel Yobey. Miguel Yobey wrote it down because it's a folk song, and I never knew anything about it until I started playing. I said, wait a minute, that's it. But by then I'd already been playing my own rendition of this thing that I remembered vaguely from my young teenage mind, and anyway, so I made it up. Is there a message here?
Yeah, Bob called if you want to call him.
Oh, do I call him back?
Evidently we're having trouble with this phone hookup.
Oh, we have his number?
Yeah. No, if you want to call him.
I could try to call him. Oh, okay. So this phone hookup isn't working very well?
Right, I guess the hookup's not working.
We have our Las Vegas correspondent, and I'm telling my story about El Testamento de la Mia. Well, I'll call Bob real quick, and then I'll play the song. Now that anybody who's watching at home has already clicked over. Anyway. Hang on, I got to make a call. Is it 594 or 39? It looks like a 5. 27. That's just a 3. It looks like a 5. Bob, are you there?
In Las Vegas, that could be dangerous.
This is Jody. Leave a message.
That's what we
Oh, I think I might have the wrong number.
Please record your message.
Play your guitar.
Well, I ruined that show. We tried to get, is that a 5 or a 3? What do you think?
Whatever you didn't dial.
Well, I'll try the other number real quick.
Yeah.
394. 27. We'll try that number.
We're sorry. You have reached a number.
Sorry, Bob. All right, we had this big plan. We went to all this trouble because we have a Las Vegas correspondent who calls in and gives us the news from Las Vegas. He normally works on the show, but he snowbirds. All right, we wasted enough time. So this is my version, and I call it Amelia. Quite a story, really, you know. I wonder who this guy was. Anyway, it was hundreds of years ago. Who cares? He's dead now, probably. Figure. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Skopinski, sir, do you want to come up and read something?
If we have time?
Yeah, I hope so. We got young Tom is going to read something too, but going to have a seat, and there's a microphone for you.
will work. Actually, I've got a couple of poems, but they're all brief, and they're a total of 4, and they're grouped in 2s. So I can do at least the first 2. They'll be fairly short, and
Do the first 2, see what happens.
see what happens. Yes. A friend had written. I had a friend that I've known since high school, and we correspond pretty regularly. I hadn't sent him emails for a while, so he sent me a Robert Frost poem about the importance of communication and keeping in touch and stuff like that. So it kind of made me think about Robert Frost. That's in the other 2 that I have. I'm not going to read that right now. But since we really didn't have much of a winter this year, and we're at the end of winter, this is now the last show in February, and it's waning. I picked out a couple of poems by Robert Frost that have to do with winter and snowy weather and stuff, just as a kind of a way of saying farewell to the winter of 2011 to 2012. And like I say, both of these are fairly short. The first one is called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And he says, "Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of the easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." So that's a nice little commemoration of how beautiful snow on a winter night can be, and we didn't see much of that this year, but so that's why I thought this would be a nice poem to read. And the other one is probably more related to where we are right now, which is late winter. And I'm not sure if this is entirely about snow. There could be some other things going on here, like ephemera and the fleeting nature of things like the daily newspaper and stuff. So, but nonetheless, it's kind of evocative of this time of year. It's called A Patch of Old Snow. There's a patch of old snow in a corner that I should have guessed was blown away paper the rain had brought to rest. It is speckled with grime as if small print overspread it. The news of the day I've forgotten if I ever read it. So
That's very nice.
about it.
That's very
Patches of
good.
snow, and we're seeing a lot of those this year.
Very good, yeah.
I have 2 more if we have time later.
We should get young Tom up here to read his thing.
Tom should do his thing, so.
Yeah, you gonna read your thing now? Or?
I'm ready.
Well, you're ready, we're ready. So, have a seat and, this is your, entrance music. How's that?
That's quite an introduction. Thank you. It's nice to have you back here at Uptown Bill's.
I'm a habitual offender, though. I'm here every month now. So.
Well, this is great. This is great. Maybe you think about coming twice a month. Although for the camera crew, that would be something because it requires not just turning on the cameras, but moving them from downstairs to upstairs.
Yeah, it's a long way up.
So that's a big thing. Do you remember the Peanuts comic strip?
Yeah, I do.
The main character, of course, is Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not know that's based on a real person. And we actually have a small Charlie Brown on stage here. My sister sent to me after we got the Elmo.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie Brown was a social worker in Minneapolis. And after he died, or after Schultz died, actually, I wrote a little reminiscence. I had a chance both to meet Charlie Brown and then later Charles Schultz. So that's what I'm going to share with you this evening. What do people call you? Charles Schultz asked his friend in art school. Everybody calls me Charlie Brown, was the reply. That's how the late Charlie Brown recalled the conversation in which Schultz asked if he could use Charlie Brown's name for his comic strip character. He showed me this chubby little guy without a lot of hair, Brown remembered, adding he was somewhat surprised. I was expecting somebody more like Superman or Steve Canyon. I heard Charlie Brown tell that story a number of times over the years. I thought of it again recently when I saw that one of the papers around here is still running classic Peanuts, they call it. I first met Charlie Brown when I was a junior in high school. He worked at the juvenile center. He was a social worker, worked at the juvenile center in Minneapolis, and I was one of a group of high school students who were going to volunteer at a group home for girls. Mary Hartman, a friend of mine, had talked me into this assignment. I thought it would be just for a few months, but it turned out to go on for several years. Well, our job was to organize social activities for the girls at the Good Shepherd Home in St. Paul. Chief among our tasks was importing boys and bands for dances at the group home. I remember a number of times running up to bands at local night spots like this one and asking them if they would play at Good Shepherd. No money. It was a long way from Minneapolis to St. Paul in those days, further than it is now, but somehow we were always able to get people. After a couple of years, I found that I ended up being in charge of this volunteer effort, so I got to call Charlie Brown. I can still see him standing in the living room of the center on Park Avenue and watching him talk with us. Each year he brought a giant panel of one of the cartoons. It usually was the one of Lucy grabbing the football as Charlie's just about ready to kick it. He had several of these giant-sized cartoons that Schultz had sent him over the years. I do remember thinking how much Charlie Brown looked like a grown-up version of the character that Schultz had created. I have a photo that shows the resemblance somewhere. It shows Charlie Brown holding a picture of the cartoon Charlie Brown. In it, the real Charlie Brown really looks a lot like the cartoon character. Charlie Brown died a number of years ago, but he left a legacy in the choice of careers for a number of us. He, along with a few other people I met around the same time, started off on the path to working with young people. That eventually led to social work. Many of us went to the University of Minnesota, and some of us met along the way a guy named Barry Morrow, for whom Bill Sachter was a good friend, and Barry was also the inspiration for the first Bill movie. In fact, he wrote the screenplay. I actually had a chance to meet Charles Schultz and tell him of Charlie's influence on my life. That came up just a year or two after Brown died. I was at the Oakland Museum in Oakland, California, and there was an exhibit of Schultz's work called The Art of Peanuts. Schultz was there, and we had a brief conversation. He reminded me of a number of public figures I've met who are very reserved, even shy, you might say, and they're never quite comfortable being at the center of public attention. But Charles Schultz remembered his friend fondly, Charlie Brown. And also later on I learned that the redheaded girl was a real person, and she still lives in Minneapolis to this day. My friends and family will tell you that I've been a fan of Peanuts for a very long time. Over the years, they've sent me all sorts of items connected to the cartoon strip: toys, cars, cards, decorations, even Peanuts macaroni and cheese. The latest, of course, here is right in front of you. My daughter, Molly, sent that so that Elmo would have a small friend. When I was elected student body president at the University of Minnesota, my campaign manager commissioned a sweatshirt with Charlie Brown on the front. Underneath were the words, "Oh my God, I'm president." Malcolm Moose, who was then university president, admired the sweatshirt and wondered if he could get one. And ultimately, he did get one, and we ended up on the front page of the Minneapolis paper, him wearing the sweatshirt and my standing next to him. It was the week I graduated from college. It was a thrill, of course, to see this, but I was very worried because the syndicate that controls the Peanuts comic strip, United Features, is really fussy about people using the images of the Peanuts characters. I worried for years that they would track me down and find me. Only in the last few years have I relaxed and thought, I don't think they're coming to get me. So that's it. That's my little story. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. That was young Tom who runs things up here at Uptown Bill's. Good place to come. It's a coffee house. You can get a pretty good cup of coffee here too. They had. They used to have a really good carrot cake up there. I don't know if they have any now. They have pies and things. And also, one thing I didn't know is the counter at Pearson's drugstore ended up here. So I used to belly up to the soda fountain in my youth, and there it is. It has remained somewhere. If you're a townie, you know of Pearson's drugstore. about it for the show, actually. It's about over now, so I'll be back next week at the regular time, regular Tom's Guitar Show downstairs. And next month, the last Tuesday of the month, I'll be up here with a great big string band. Thanks, everybody. Good, Dennis.